Good morning, everyone. As we discussed in previous class, Linux is prerequisite right, to learn anything like AWS or DevOps. Linux is mandatory to learn anything about AWS or DevOps. Any idea like how many operating systems do we have?
Next, Ubuntu, Windows,
Okay, that's it.
Mac.
Fine. Correct. So let me tell you. First, coming to Windows, we have Windows operating system. So the source code of Windows operating system. What is meant by source code? The code which is used like for developing this Windows operating system. Using this code only, they have developed some operating system. So this source code is not open for everyone. This source code can be seen by the only Microsoft employees because this Windows operating system is developed by whom? Microsoft company. Only Microsoft employees, authorized people only can see the source code of Windows operating system. Source code is nothing but the code which is written to develop that Windows operating system. Okay, only they can able to see this code. So first, Microsoft employees they launched Windows XP. Later, they came with one more version that is Windows 98. Then they came with Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. Now get Windows 10. These many operating systems are originated from Windows. So if you know how to deal with one OS, you can work with the other operating system. You don't need to learn specially. If you are using currently Windows 7 in your desktop machine, if you want to upgrade to Windows 8 or 10 or 11, so do you take any special training? No, right? Just by seeing the interface, you can understand how to work with Windows operating system. It's very user friendly. Windows is. These are the different versions. All these are the different versions of Windows operating system. These versions of operating systems we install only in computers or laptops. But what about servers? If you want to install the operating system in a server, which operating system we use? For servers, we have different kinds of Windows operating systems like Windows 2008, like Windows 2012, Windows 2016, Windows 2019, Windows 2020, Windows 2022. So these are the different kinds of like different versions of operating systems we used to install them in servers. We cannot install Windows 10 or Windows 11 in servers. So these are the different operating systems originated in Windows OS. So what is the other one? Unix. Unix is the one more operating system. The source code of Unix It is open to everyone in the world. It is not developed by any company, right? So it is developed by some random individual person. So this source code is open to everyone in the world. Since everyone can see the source code, one person, his name in a story world. This man, what he did means he took the source code of Unix and he added his own changes. He added his own code changes on top of this Unix source code. Then he named that operating system as Linux operating system. This Linux operating system is developed by whom? Linus Torvald. So Linux is nothing but it came from Unix only. If you see the code changes here, 90% of the code it belongs to Unix only. On top of that, he added only 10% of the Linux changes, his own changes. Then he named that operating system as Linux operating system. Okay. You all know, right? Apple company. Apple company, they also took the source code of Unix. On top of Unix source code, they added their changes and they named that operating system as Mac OS, Mac operating system. If you see Mac operating system, here the core one is Unix only. 90% of the changes belongs to Unix. Like 10% changes will be Mac changes. Majority of the code is Unix. On top of that, they added their own flavors. Even IBM company, they also took the source code of Unix. They named their operating system as AIX. HP company, Hewlett Packard, they also developed an operating system called HPUX. Sun Microsystems, this company also, Sun Microsystems. This company also took the Unix source code. Since Unix is free, right? Everyone is getting for free. So they're taking the OS of Unix. On top of that, they adding their flavors, their own code changes. They named this OS as Solaris. So these are the different operating systems. All these are originated from Unix only. If you need Mac OS to install in your laptop, then you can't get it for free because this OS is developed by who? Apple company. So whether Apple will give it for free for you? No, we have to purchase this operating system. Same like Windows. Windows, you can't get it for free. The genuine operating system, okay. Even Windows genuine also, you need to pay for licensed version to Microsoft. The one which you are getting for 300 rupees, 200 in the market, that is not genuine one, okay, without license. So any of these operating systems, IAX, AIX, UX, Solaris, all these operating systems, paid versions, because these are developed by some big reputed companies. They will not give it for free of cost. We need to pay money and get these operating systems. But only Linux operating system is not developed by any IT company or any big companies. This Linux operating system is developed by some individual person. So he kept this Linux code again open to everyone. The source code of Linux he kept again open to everyone. What happens if he keeps the source code open again? Companies start taking the code. One company called Red Hat. This company took the source code of Linux. They started adding their changes and they named that operating system as RHEL. That means Red Hat Enterprise Linux Operating System. So this Red Hat Enterprise Linux contains Unix flavor, Linux flavor, plus its own core changes, Red Hat changes. Treat 90%, 5% changes belongs to Linux, 5% changes belongs to Red Hat. Okay. So the majority of the changes belongs to what? Unix only. On top of that, Linux changes because it is taking the code from Linux. On top of that Linux code, this company adding their changes, their own flavors, and they named it as Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating system. Not only Red Hat company, so many other companies also took the source code of Linux. Amazon company, they also took the source code of Linux and they named one operating system as Amazon Linux. This Amazon Linux operating system is also originated from where? Linux. Linux is originated from Unix. This Amazon Linux. Not only this Red Hat Amazon, again there is community enterprises. They also originated like from Linux open source code. They took source code and again they added flavors. They named it as CentOS operating, like community enterprises operating system. So not only this, like Ubuntu, Fedora, SUSE, Kali Linux, all these operating systems are originated from Linux operating system. So for all these OS, who is the parent? Linux is the parent. And for all these operating system, who is the parent? Unix is the parent. That means it is like grandparent. It is child. And these are all the children of again Linux. The core operating system what? Unix. Any doubts here in this hierarchy? The history of operating systems.
No.
No, sir.
No, fine.
Okay. Here again, can we use same type of Linux commands in all these operating systems? So there are different types of operating systems, right? Linux, Unix, Red Hat, Amazon Linux, CentOS, Ubuntu, Fedora. So whether the same type of Linux command, for example, I want to install one software called HTTPD. This is one Apache server. I want to install this package. So this command for this installing this package, the command is yum install HTTPD. So this Linux command will work in only few operating systems, but not in all the operating systems. This command will work only in Red Hat family. In Red Hat family, we have RHEL, Amazon Linux, CentOS, etc. And one more family is Debian family. Debian, it is also originated from here only. We did explain. Okay. Debian also originated from here only. Under Debian family, we have Ubuntu operating system. So two types of families. This is one family and this is one family. So the operating systems which belongs to Red Hat family, they can use this command because all Red Hat family operating systems will have same types of command. Okay, this command will work in RHEL, Amazon Linux, CentOS, Kali, this one's operating systems, Red Hat family. But this Debian family will use some slightly different commands. Instead of yum, here we have a package manager called apt. Install means install only. Here we use HTTPD, right? Here we don't call HTTPD. Here we call them as Apache 2. So these are the slight changes inside this operating systems only again. Next, coming to architecture. Architecture of Windows operating system. And Linux operating system. So let's start with Windows OS first. We have hardware. On top of hardware, we have operating system. On top of operating system, we have shell. On top of shell, we have GUI. On top of graphical user interface, users will give their inputs. User input. Okay. So here inside this architecture, hardware is nothing but laptop or computer, desktop, anything. On top of this physical machine, we install OS. Which OS? Windows OS will install. On top of this Windows OS, like once we install Windows operating system, there is a shell screen will be present. What is that? It is nothing but command prompt. This black color screen is called as shell screen. Okay. And in Windows, we have an added advantage, that is GUI, graphical user interface. On top of this GUI, users will give input. What is GUI? Like this is nothing but graphical interface. This screen, like all the things you are seeing right here, this is everything is GUI only. Graphically, we can see the OS. Like we can interact with Windows operating system through graphics, through the console. Now I will give one input to GUI. Like I want to create one folder. So what I have to do, just do right click, new folder, enter. That's it. I have created the folder. So with which one I interacted with console. In backend, even if you interact with console, that work will be done by shell screen only. Shell. In backend, in shell, it will execute in the form of commands. Whatever we do graphically, that activity is performed backend by shell by using some batch commands. Okay. Through batch commands, it will execute that. So we can interact directly with console, or you can interact with shell also. Now let's interact with shell. Same thing, we will interact with shell and we will create a directory. Let's change path to desktop. CD means change directory. I'm changing my directory to desktop. Let's create one directory, Linux. Enter. Linux directory is created. Now let's create one more, mkdir, means make directory, AWS. Same thing, I can interact with console, like nothing but graphical user interface, or I can interact with shell screen. In end of the day, you will get the result, right? But the Windows is giving you the advantage to interact with console to make it easy. So which one is easy, interacting with console or interacting with shell screen? Do you think which one is easy, comfortable?
Interacting with console.
Console only, right? So that's the advantage of Windows operating system. If I want to see the list, yes, you can interact with shell and you can see the list also, everything you can get it. Okay, now coming to Linux architecture. I have hardware here also. On top of hardware, we'll install kernel. On top of kernel, shell is there. On top of shell, user will give their inputs. If you see the difference between Windows architecture and Linux architecture, here we have operating system. Here we have kernel. Operating system or kernel, anything is same, both are same. But in Linux terminology, we call operating system as kernel. Okay, kernel is nothing but an operating system. And on top of that, we have shell. Shell is our black screen where you can give the commands. So now tell me, if you don't know Linux commands, can you work with the Linux operating system?
No.
You cannot interact with Linux operating system. So people learn Linux, but people will not learn Windows, because Windows have the flexibility to interact with the console and you can deal the things. But Linux is not having that one. You should interact with shell. Whatever you give, like if you want to create a folder, you give the input in the form of commands. Everything, the input should be given in the form of Linux commands. Here we call it as bash commands also. We call them as batch commands, BATCH. Here it's not mandatory for you to learn batch commands because you have interface, right? GUI. Through this you can interact with Windows OS and you can do your work. But here it's not like that. You should learn Linux commands. Then only you can interact with Linux servers. This is architecture between like Linux and Windows. Any doubts?
Arvind, in Linux, GUI is not present.
In Linux?
GUI, graphical user interface, is not present.
In Linux, GUI, like it is present, but it's not like this one. It's not like this. Okay, GUI is there, but it's even though they call it GUI, but we cannot call it GUI. Like it's like a completely different screen. I'll show you that one. Okay.
Okay.
It's completely black only. Black screen with some codings. I'll show that. But all operating systems, like in Unix, we have plenty of operating systems, right? So all will not have GUI.
Okay.
Yes. Next, differences. What is the difference between Windows operating system and Linux operating system? We have some differences. In Windows, we call administrator. Windows administrator. If you open your control panel, see, when I install this OS, Windows operating system, in my machine, in my laptop, a user will be created, right? One user. That user, by default, that user, we call it as admin, Windows administrator. You should give one name. So he is the administrator of my laptop. Administrator means what? He is the owner. He can install anything. He can uninstall anything. He can do whatever he wants. If he want to remove the OS and change the OS, yes, he have that rights. If you want to install any package, he can do it. Not only this one user, you can create multiple users also, like manage another account. So if you and your colleague both are using same machine, and you and your brother, you both are using same machine, you can create one more user account for him, and you can't call him admin. He's just a user. For this user, you can give limited privileges, like only accessing Google Chrome, and like accessing with like Notepad. So some few permissions only you can give him, limited kind of permissions. The difference between administrator and a normal user is what? Administrator is like owner of the house. He can do anything. The normal users are like tenants. Okay, they don't have all permissions, but owner will have all the permissions, right? So in Windows, that user we call it as administrator. In Linux also we have that kind of user. We call him as root user. Here we call administrator. Here we call root user. In Windows we call folders. These are what? Folders. In Linux we call them directories. Here we call softwares. Install antivirus software, install that software, this software. Here we call it as packages. In Windows, path. For example, I'm opening one folder. What is the path here? You just copy, you will get the path. This folder is present under AWS Aravind direct Aravind folder inside Aravind users, and users is present under C drive. So all these folders are separated by backward slash. Same thing if you want to mention in Linux, just give like this: C drive users Aravind.aws. So here we use backward slash, here we use forward slash. Okay. Next. Advantages of Linux operating system. The most and the first advantage is it is open source. Linux operating system is free of cost. You can get it for free. You don't need to pay. You don't need to purchase Linux operating system. Suppose you have a company. In your company, you have 1,000 servers. If you want to install Linux operating system in all your 1,000 servers without spending 1 rupee, you can install Linux OS. But if you want to install Windows in all your 1,000 servers, you need to spend some lakhs of rupees. Okay. So what I said here, in Windows, we cannot use this operating system for server. These OS you will get for 3,000 or for some 4K, 4,000 rupees, the genuine one. But these operating systems are very costly. Okay, you cannot get it for 3K or 4K because these operating systems are installed where in servers. So these OS are costly compared to this one. So you need to spend some lakhs of rupees only for installing these softwares in your servers. But whereas Linux is not like that, it is open source, free of cost. Anyone can get it for free. Linux is a lightweight operating system. Lightweight means it occupies
No space.
yes, less space or less storage. Generally, if you install Windows operating system in your machine, it occupies 14 GB to 16 GB. like Windows 7, Windows 8, or Windows 10, like this Windows operating system. Whereas if you install Linux operating system, it hardly takes 700 MB, means not even 1 GB also. Means it is occupying less space or storage. What is the advantage if it is occupies less storage? If storage is less, then the system will work very fast. It is fast to fire up. Means if you shut down your Windows operating system, like Windows laptop, and you start it, once you start, like once you switch on your Windows laptop, it takes some time. It will load. In this meanwhile, like it take 15 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds, or some will take 30-40 seconds also. It depends on the configuration again. So in this meanwhile, it will boot the operating system, like complete booting will happen. Like it will reload all the files related to operating system. So if the operating system size is more, it takes more time to start the machine. But if it is having less size, you can start very fast. System will start like within milliseconds. Okay. The reason why it is having 700 MB and why it is having GBs, because see here you have graphical interface, right? Here you don't have any graphics. Here you have only black screen. So normally if you download one audio song, it takes 4 MB. If you download one 4K video song, it may occupy like 40 MB size or some 100 MB also, because you are spending that storage only for video graphical things. 4K means quality is more, means storage will also occupy more, right? If you go for like normal 1080 or some 720 pixel video, it may be like 32 MB only. It depends upon the graphical content, how much quality it is having. If the quality is more, it occupies storage also more only. Okay. And secure. Linux operating system is very secure compared to Windows operating system. Why it is more secure? Windows, Linux. Tell me which one is more easy to learn?
Windows.
Windows operating system is more easy. Anyone can learn. Even fourth class student, second class student also, he can use laptop. He can work with Windows. If hackers want to attack this Windows operating system, they should learn more, right? They should learn the positives, negatives, everything. Like if they want to attack that Windows OS, right, they should learn complete Windows. Like it should, they should learn the background of Windows OS, the commands, batch commands, everything they have to learn. So for them, it will be little difficult compared to us, because we are not doing hacking, right? For us, it is normal thing. But for hackers, they should learn more things. For them, somewhat difficult, but however, they will learn and they will hack the systems also. But Linux is not like that. Linux operating system, generally learning itself difficult. Okay. Generally, to learn Linux only, it is not that much easy, because you need to remember all the commands. Now, if you want to hack Linux OS, how much difficult it is, right, compared to Windows. So understood? So there is a less chances of hacking Linux operating systems compared to Windows. If 10 Windows servers are attacked, you will have only 1% of the chance, maybe 1 or 2. Rarely Linux operating systems are hacked, okay, because of its hardness, like toughness, difficult to learn the system. Okay. See, in my system, once I installed OS, Windows OS. So once I installed Windows OS, I can see C drive, right? C drive you get by default. But what about D and E drive? That's your wish. If you want to do the partition, you can do. Otherwise, C drive is mandatory. All your operating system will be installed in C drive. If you go inside C drive, you can see again Windows folder. By default, some folders are created: Windows, users, program files. So all softwares are installed where. See, I didn't create any folder like this, program files or this one. By default, these are created inside C. I'm having Windows folder. So my operating system details are present here, and I got program files. This one, and one more program files x86. If you install any software, like you installed Google Chrome, you downloaded Google Chrome and you installed it. If your system laptop is a 32-bit operating system, then that software is installed here. Google Chrome is installed. If your system is a 64-bit one, it will install in program files here. Google Chrome is installed. Now you want to install Microsoft Office, Excel sheet, Word document. So you need to install Microsoft. By default, it will install where? Here in 64-bit. If your system is 64-bit, Microsoft software is installed here. So what I mean to say is, if to install any package, if you install, by default, they will install program files. Your Windows OS files, everything present under Windows. And who is the administrator? Aravind user is the administrator. His details are present under users. He is the administrator. With all the folders, everything present inside this one. Where is Aravind folder? It is inside users. So it is some hierarchy, right? Similarly, Linux is also having hierarchy. The Linux hierarchy is everything starts from root. This is called root directory. It is divided again into subdirectories, subfolders. Root, home, etc, boot, bin, sbin. Like this, many subfolders are there. These are some, like it is having around 10 to 15 subfolders, subdirectories. This one is a main directory, // we call it as root directory. And what is the difference between this one and this one? We call this also root directory, we call this one also root directory, but to differentiate, we can call it as top level root. To differentiate, top level root directory, this is a root directory. This is like parent, all these are children. Means it is a main directory, these are all subdirectories. What is the purpose of this root directory? This root directory is, it is home for root user. Okay, this one is the home for root user. Home means what? Here, who is the administrator of this system? Aravind is the administrator. What is the home for Aravind? This users is the home for Aravind. Nothing but inside this users folder, Aravind folder is present. So Aravind is present. This Aravind administrator is present under users folder. So users is the home for this administrator. Similarly, in Linux also, we have root user, right? For the root user, this is the home. This home is the home for normal users. etc, it will have all configuration related files. Boot directory, it will have all the bootable files. Bin directory will have all Linux commands which are configured. Sbin also will have all Linux commands which are configured. These commands are used by, the commands which are present in bin are used by normal users, and the commands which are configured under sbin are used by root users. Okay. What is meant by this Linux commands configured in bin, in sbin? I'll show you example. In my Windows, if I give dir command, it is giving you some output. Like in my folder, Aravind folder, it is showing some folders, like it is having desktop folder, documents, downloads, favorites, link. All these are the folders it is showing. Okay. It is saying like one files, 19 directories. If I give dirr, what it is saying? Dirr is not recognized as an internal or external command. That means my Windows operating system not able to understand. So what do you have given? DIR, I don't know. Like, that's why it is not giving you any output, because this command is not configured. The program is not there for dir command in Windows operating system. Whereas if you give dir, yes, it can able to understand because somewhere it is configured in my Windows OS. So that's why it is showing you output for dir. But for dir, it is not given because this command is not configured. Similarly, Linux commands are configured where? In bin directory and sbin directory. Okay, like that we have USR also. If you install any package, by default, that package is installed where? In USR directory. It is like program files. If you install any package, it will be installed in USR directory. You no need to remember what is etc, what is boot, what is bin, what is sb. But the important thing you need to understand is mainly this one and this one. Root is the home for root directory. Home is the home for normal users. Means remaining all users are, we consider them as normal users. Any doubts?
No.
No, sir.
Clear, right, for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So we have to start practicing Linux commands, all those things. So to start practicing this Linux commands, we need what? To practice Linux commands, what is required? We need Linux server. Okay, we need Linux server. So where can we launch like this Linux server? We can launch this Linux server in AWS cloud. You don't need to install in your laptop. Okay, we can launch servers in directly from the cloud. So if you want to launch Linux server from AWS cloud, what is needed? We need AWS account. Okay, so we have to create one AWS account from this URL, aws.amazon.com. I'll guide you how to create one AWS account. So be ready with your AWS accounts by tomorrow. aws.amazon.com. Enter. Create an AWS account. Your registered email address. Like you have already Gmails, right? If you have any Gmail, like give your Gmail ID, like email, and mention your name and click on verify email address. Once you click on verify email address, you will get one notification to your registered email. Go to inbox and you will get a button like verify. Once you verified there, it will take you to next step, next page. In that page, it will ask for residential details. You need to provide all the details, your flat number, street number, cities, pin code, everything. Later, it will ask you whether this account is for free trial, student purpose, or business. You select free tier account. Okay, free tier is like they will give you for free. Free tier account means they give, AWS will provide you for 12 months. Why they are giving for 12 months? Because like people want to choose cloud technologies like either AWS, Azure, GCP. So directly without having any knowledge on AWS or Azure or GCP, how they can choose the cloud? So for that purpose only they are giving initially 12 months free. So we can use AWS cloud for free 12 months. Later, if we like this cloud, then we can host our applications like in real time. In real time you can host your applications everything by paying, by taking the business account, and you can do your activities. For practicing all these things you can choose free tier account. Okay, take free tier account and start practicing. You can start it like in the next page. Again it will ask you the details regarding credit card or debit card. Better give credit card details because sometimes debit card details will fail. So if you have credit card, either Visa or Master only, not other one. Okay, only Visa or Master only, they will approve. Provide your card details, expiry date, everything. CVV also. You will get one OTP for your mobile. You need to provide your OTP. AWS will deduct 2 rupees from your account, credit card. Once the amount is debited from your account, it will take you to next page. There provide your country name, mobile number, and select text or call. If you select text, they'll send you an OTP. You need to give that OTP here, type that OTP, submit. Your account is activated now. Just it is only 2 minutes of process to create an AWS account. Once your AWS account is activated, like immediately this amount will be debited, like credited back into your account. Okay, they will refund back to your account. Amazon will not misuse your card details. Okay, so you don't think like I am giving all my credit card details, CVV number, everything. So if I use anything, if I get the billing for my AWS account, will they charge and will they automatically debit my account, debit the money? No, they will not do without your permission. Even with your permission also they will not do. Okay. Be ready with your AWS accounts. In tomorrow's class, we'll let's start launching Linux server in AWS cloud. Then later we'll start practicing Linux commands. Okay. Any doubts?
No, sir.
I'll share you the new link from Monday. You can join from Monday with a new Zoom link. Tomorrow also same link only. Okay. That's it for today.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Aravind.
Bye, Aravind.